And so far, what have some of the challenges been in terms of fostering this partnership, these partnerships that you speak of?
We haven't had the challenges per se. I think the response, Chantal, when we have interacted with the communities, they are very engaging and they would like to see, because in some cases, persons do not understand a hazard or what is likely to happen. And sometimes they take it for granted. Oh yes, this morning I saw this happening, but they do not understand what are the long-term effects and what is the mechanism that needs to be addressed to these things. So we haven't seen any challenges that we can say that are not achievable. I think the greatest concept in terms of what the challenges is, how can we bring everyone together, funding agencies, because obviously the community doesn't have the resources to fund the project. How can we allow the funding agencies to see the significance, relevance, and the benefits of both the funding agencies and the community? So I think that would be the greatest challenge, if you want to call it a challenge. But I think we are working to make sure that this project is a success.
Well, I asked about the challenge. What are some of the greatest benefits then, since
What do you mean?
the list is long?
The outcomes of this is, one, satisfaction for the community that they were part of a project. They were part of the identification of what the issues are, and they were part of the solutions. I think that is the greatest achievement that we can get of that. Secondly, the funding agencies will have a sense of appreciation that they were able to be part of something that has brought the level of success that we seek to get from that. And last but not least, there are solutions that the community will benefit from in the long term, short term, and medium term, because obviously each asset of the project has a time frame and it has a cost associated. So what we used to say in Beijing, the low-hanging fruit, we hope that we can pick those fruits as quickly as possible and leave the medium and long-term projects for the greater good in terms of the time that it can take. Because you don't want to do it rush. A rush job is usually a bad job. So you want to do it thorough. So you want to give time for the project to evolve and the persons to interact and get the benefits from it.
And we spoke about short, medium, and long. What are the long-term visions for climate resilience within the entire Caribbean?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that we could have in the Caribbean, but then again, finance is always something that we go back to. But in a perfect world, I think it would be good to have a lot of enforced building codes, especially in the type of climate that we live in. We need to make sure that we can withstand the extreme weather events that we are seeing. So climate resilient buildings and infrastructure is very important. Making sure that our economic sectors can also respond to the shocks from climate, whether that be the agricultural sector or the tourism sector. I think we might need a more diversified economy going forward. Also making sure that persons can not only respond, but recover from what is going on. Making sure that we are able to just withstand the different varying challenges that we might see in the future. So I think what's important is we need more research and development, starting from primary school straight up to tertiary, making sure that we do more research on what is going on. Effects of Saharan dust, for example, we might need more research on that, on sargassum seaweed. So those different areas that we see on a daily basis, we might need more research and development on that in the future.
And I think if we can add to what Chantal just says, climate change is going to be here with us to stay. And it's going to have adverse effects on everything that we do. It has been predicted by Met Office that we are going to have some dry periods. What are the implications of that for our food production or food security? We're experiencing some high temperatures. What are the health consequences of that? And how would they also affect the same agriculture and food security? Because when you have less water, you have more heat. Agriculture suffers across the board. Those persons who have various respiratory issues, the current dust, the increase in the volume of the dust and the longer period that it stays with us, all these are derivative of climate change and we need to build a level of resilience so that we can adapt and we can cope coping skills is what we now have to teach our communities and our people across the Caribbean. How do we cope with the event of these things happening? We have also been predicting that this year may be continue to be above average. It doesn't take, you don't necessarily need to have 15 storms. You just need one adverse weather system that can devastate any of the country. So these are the things that we have to keep on the minds and the lips of everyone, because we all are going to be impacted and we all are going to suffer collectively. So we have to come together and see what we can do to reduce and mitigate and prepare so that our response and recovery initiatives will be as effective as is needed.
And I'm glad you kind of talked on everyone coming together. This is going to go on social media, on YouTube. So anyone watching, you mentioned primary school, secondary school students, adults, those in the community at whatever level, what can we as individuals, and then obviously we make up the community, what can we do collectively to kind of help our communities and help this climate resilience?
Well, let me jump on this first. I would like to see more people in the community join the District Mercy Organization.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, that is, I have a passion for what we do here at the department. We need to have more persons, and the younger ones. I belong to the old school, so I'll be moving on very shortly. But we need some more younger persons, persons from the community college, persons from the university who have the level of training and adaptive skills that we need to have the community to be more engaged. We need also to the business community to understand that it's not only about being a successful business, but you bring a business and put it right in the middle of a community. What are the impacts? What are the consequences? What are the challenges? How will they affect the way of life of persons who reside in that various community? So those are my two takes in terms of what I would like to see happen. But of course, Sean, you have some.
No, I think that's perfect. But I mean, just to mention something, I think that building climate resilience starts at the home. So I think that's where we have to start with assessing what we have within our homes that needs to be improved to make sure that we're prepared. And then we can help prepare and help others. Also, make sure reach out to the elderly persons in your community, those that are most vulnerable. Make sure that they are also prepared for what might happen. And if you need resources on how to find that, the Department of Emergency Management has a list of resources on our website, social media pages. Also, the Barbados Med Service has a lot of information on that. So be sure to check it out. If you need any assistance, you could always call the Department of Emergency Management and we can assist with that.
And then what they enforce or Shanton, it says, I think disaster preparedness and management should be introduced. I know some teachers will not like to hear me. They will say, what else you want us to do? But disaster management is everyone's business. And if you can have it infused in some way at the primary level, and at the greater level, at the secondary level, it is already at tertiary level because there are various aspects of disaster management and risk assessment, impact analysis, business continuity, whatever. That is taught at the university level. But if we can get from the ground a swell of persons who are more versed and more prepared, they will develop greater coping skills from a younger age, so it becomes a way of life. We use the slogan, tourism is everybody's business, because we are heavily dependent on it. Everybody has to get involved in disaster preparedness because it can destroy the gains that the tourism industry can bring. So it has to be seen in that light. And I will look forward to the day where that change of attitude will come about and persons will say, well, yes, we have to do this and we have to do that. We have to protect our country.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us and the information. So lastly, a lot of information to take in, but any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our community?
Well, as you see persons coming back into the various communities, come together, approach us, ask as many questions as is necessary, because we need you to get on board.
I guess just to reiterate that, just to make sure to build your own climate resilience, make sure it starts in the home. And from there, I think we would all have a greater resilience in our Caribbean region.
And thank you, of course, to our representatives from the Department of Emergency Management. Of course, you can stay tuned to YouTube, social media, websites for more resources and information of how you too can get involved. And of course, it takes a community to be prepared. So thank you guys so much. And until next time, stay tuned.